Baritone. Let's get going. If you don't have the sheet music, go to jollyrogerukulele.com. That's where I post everything. jollyrogerukulele.com. And let me go post the link to this class. Today is Friday. We are going to be playing Baritone Ukulele, and we have a short class today because I missed Tuesday, so we're missing a song. And that's probably a good thing because I'm playing pretty iffy today. And so hopefully we will get through today and we will move on and be like, well, that was that. And so uh, as people roll in here, they'll let me know if the sound is good. And if you want to learn to play ukulele, baritone ukulele, guitar, or harmonica, go to jollyrogerukulele.com and you'll be directed to the proper links over there. We'll be posting all the sheet music up today. We're playing the four songs we're playing today are. I will give them to you in order. We would be doing our Make a Better on Baritone worksheet. That's our Friday etude to get our hands and our hands more limber and supple, and this hand more strong and powerful. We're going to play the key of D arpeggio, which is kind of hard. And then we're going to play Simple Gifts and Carnival of Venice. Both of those are just beautiful pieces of music, and they're going to sound great. Michelina is in. Michelina is in Portland, Oregon. They've been having terrible fires up there, but I understand the rain is headed their way, and so we're optimistic that things will be back to normal there pretty quickly. Cindy is here. Cindy's nothing but trouble. Cindy lives in Denver, kind of, and sometimes she lives in Oregon, kind of. When she comes in, I say things like, why haven't you bought yourself a decent ukulele? And she says, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I don't listen to her after that. And then she goes and buys a decent ukulele. So, by the way, if you made a serious commitment to this activity, you owe it to yourself to be playing good instruments, you know? In ukulele class, I often play this thing. Okay, this is $80. This is not a good ukulele. I play it mostly because I want people to know that the ukulele doesn't matter. At the end of the day, though, it does kind of. And so, if you make a serious commitment to this, go find yourself a decent instrument. Make yourself the gift. Here's what I always tell people: when you're practicing, put $5 in the jar. 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 Every single time you do that, 20, 30 lessons, 20, what is it? 20 times 5. Is that, how much is that? How much is that? 20 times 5. This is the day I'm having. Clear, 20 times 5, $100, right? So you got to practice 20 times, you get $100. Then, that's what I thought it was. Why won't my brain work? Practice 20 times, you got $100. Practice 40 times, you got $200. Practice 80 times, you got a lot of money. But the truth is, after you practice about 20 times and you got $100 in there, you'll be like, okay, close enough, and you'll go buy a decent instrument. Lots of times, baritones are notorious for being, you bought the cheap one, right? Because you weren't sure. You're just like, whatever. The more expensive baritones do sound a little better than the cheapest baritones. There's not a huge difference, but they are a little better. Just the quality of wood is better. So give it some thought on that, and play as well as you can with whatever's in your hand, but also be planning for the future in terms of, hey, I want to get a decent baritone. Michelina, yes, the rains have come. Yay, Michelina. Yeah, somebody from Southern Washington reported that we had rains in the last class, and I was like, yes, finally. And Terry's in from beautiful, relatively, downtown Denver. Terry and I have a problem. We both live downtown Denver, and downtown Denver is kind of not that great of a place right now because our city leadership was confused about what would happen if you didn't take care of if you didn't help people who have homelessness issues. And so we are living in kind of a cesspool a little bit that's super disappointing, and because we love Denver and we want it to be a good place, but right now it's not. And one of the radio hosts just put a video together called I can't remember exactly what it's called, Denver Destroyed or something. It's an hour-long video about how terrible Denver is right now, and I've only managed to sit through 10 minutes of it before I had to turn it off and be like, I'll do the rest later. Um, and I have faith that we can turn this around, but I've had faith in a lot of things over the last couple of years that have not turned out to be true. So, what are you going to do? You're going to sit down, you're going to play baritone, you're going to let the world slip away for half an hour, 45 minutes, and it's going to be worth it. So let's grab your Bake a Better Bar worksheet and get that going. Valerie is in, Linda is in. We're going to just go through your Make a Better Bar worksheet. Make sure make sure you know why you do that. And then how come I can never find my Make a Better Bar baritone? Have I never downloaded it? I have. I know I have. Storage. Downloads. Baritone. I've never downloaded it. What? How is that possible? While we're talking, I'll download it. When you're sitting here playing music, sometimes you think, am I doing anything that's important or meaningful? The rest of your life is where you're messing up, right? The rest of your life, you're running around handling things that are urgent, answering emails and texts and Instagram and all this stuff. None of that's going to amount to a hill of beans. Sitting down for 30 minutes a day with an instrument and taking it seriously and trying as best as you know how to do to get the song or the etude or whatever it is that you're working on out of this, that's what's going to matter. Because your brain's getting straightened out. It's making you smarter. It's making you more organized. It's making you more goal-oriented. It's teaching you music theory so that at some point you can go and you can punch Taylor Swift in the nose and take over the songwriting for America or wherever you live. And I do think that sometimes I oversell the importance of this instrument until I see what I do when I'm not playing, and that's the stuff that's not important. It just feels like it's important because it's busy and it's in your face all of the time. And the nice part about making music is you don't have to. You really don't have to. You could do nothing. And I don't know. It doesn't seem like that's a good idea. I can't find my Make a Better Bar baritone. It's got to be here somewhere. Maybe it's not in the songs. Maybe it's in handouts. Loading. There you are. Goodness sakes. Make a Better Bar baritone PDF. Download. Yes. Okay. Hope I put it in the right folder now. I won't be able to find it again, and you guys will be like, hello, are we going to get going on this? Oh, and then I got to get out of this. And I go back into this. There it is, finally. Have I been doing this all this time, not downloading it? That's crazy. Carol says, sad to hear that. I worked downtown 17th and Market in the early 90s and loved it. We love downtown. We love downtown. We love it. We love it. The last year and a half has been a mess, and I don't know, something happened in this city where they flipped the switch from not so good, well, from whatever to oh my God, and it's been oh my God the last year, and it's not cool. So yeah, it is disappointing. I remember though, back in the day, my mom worked downtown at the Mountain Bell building, which is at 15th and Curtis. And 16th, between 15th and 16th on Curtis, right down there where the entertainment complex is. And she used to ride the bus, or for a while they would carpool. I think there was a bus though. No, I think it was a bus. She carpooled up to the Zuni. We call it Zuni Street. Zuni is the name of the Indian tribe. In Denver, we call it Zuni Street because we're stupid. And she used to carpool up to that location. But then she got downtown, so she'd ride the bus down. And at 5:01, how this is how downtown Denver used to work. At 5:01, you ran like the dickens to get on the bus because the place would be locked down tight, the carpets rolled up, the lights turned off at 5:02, and nothing was going on downtown back in those days. And we'd be like, we want to come downtown and see your office. And she'd be like, there's nothing to see downtown. There is nothing downtown. And there was nothing downtown back in those days. Now it's 1984, I think they built the baseball stadium, and now and that changed everything downtown. But forever it was like, no, you don't go downtown. There's nothing. It's not that it's bad. It's just there's nothing there. So, but yeah, in the late '80s it switched over, and then it was awesome downtown for a long time. We love cities too, and they'll figure it out. They will figure it out. It's government. It takes a long time. And the thing that makes me mad, this is me bringing in my personal life when we should be just having a thing. They had the ability and the money and the forethought to put up tens of thousands of luxury apartments that they could get done, no problem. To put up a few hundred low-income places or studio apartments or set aside a fund to fund that. Couldn't figure that one out. That's too complicated. That's too hard. We can throw up units. We can throw up buildings all over the place. No problem. Finding a few hundred units for people who are desperately in need of them. No clue. No clue. No clue. All right, there. That's your political message for today. I am, oddly enough, now I am actually spending time studying the city budgets and talking to city councilors and all this stuff because I guess once you reach this point, you're like, I cannot stand this anymore, and it is not good down there with this going on. It's gotten worse, I'm afraid. But Terry's right. It's going to come back. We're going to get through it. It's not a good time for the city. I think all we need to do is put up a "Don't come to Denver" sign, and all of a sudden they'll get it fixed real quick. Let's play the Make a Better Bar worksheet. 0, going down, it's thumb, index, middle, ring, and coming back up, it's ring, middle, index, thumb. Okay? All right. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. We're on 5. Here's 7. Ginger hand pattern. Yay! I think I got all the tones right for a change, which is very exciting. At the end of that, the question is, how much is your hand hurting? You're probably going to feel a ton of tension in here where it goes into your palm. That's where you're building the most strength and where that bar chord program really will pay off. I mean, really, as you get a nice strong hand here, I'm actually sort of amused just since March when we started doing all this stuff online, how much stronger my hand is and how rarely do I feel any tension in it anymore, just because I'm playing a lot and I'm really doing all this stuff all the time. So I got a strong hand here just from working on that kind of stuff. The bar, the older you get, the more arthritis starts settling into your knuckles, the weirder and bigger and crazier your fingers get, the more difficult it makes it. And so you've got even more of a reason to work on it a little bit. All right, there's your better bar. Also, it gets this hand cleaned up, right? Let's go play that arpeggio. The arpeggio this week's pretty tough. Next week's is going to be even tougher, so just buckle in. The D major arpeggio this week, it is... it's got a few bars in it. Down at measures, where are they? Measures 14 and 15. You've got your A shape. I'm sorry, yours is E shape bars here on 3 and 5. And again, we've talked about often about when you have a bar chord, I would much rather have you do a full bar and then do whatever in front of it you need to. In this case, it's your E shape at 3 and then slide up to 5. That's what I would rather have you do. However, some people will go ahead and just do a half bar on this shape, which is fine. It just doesn't help you out with your other bar shapes. And so when I do it, I usually do a half bar, and then I'd say, don't do what I do, do this. But the idea is do it whatever way in performance right now that it's going to be the most successful for you. And if it's not going to be successful either way, then do a full bar for sure, right? And let those sounds be for real. It's perfectly fine. Okay, we've been through this earlier this week, so hopefully you already know what you're getting yourself into. And remember, we play down through 23, then we're going to come back to measure 2. I got the measure numbers, I got to fix those. So play down to 23, come back to measure 2, and then play down all the way down to the end. There's no first and second ending. Big fermata on that last part. And remember, it's all plucks. The entire thing is plucks clear up until measure 32, where you're then going to put in your down strum with your thumb. All right, from the top. Not too fast. Supposed to be 120. Let's play it quite a bit slower, maybe 100 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4. The top. I'm amazed. I played this earlier with the ukulele group, um, and theirs is in the key of G. Yours is the key of D, but it's the same piece. And it is fascinating to me how much more power and how much more drama is in the baritone version than in note for note exactly the same piece on ukulele. The ukulele is like, oh, we're gonna play this little ditty, and in baritone it's like, the world is going to be, and we're gonna be in charge, kind of thing. So it's amazing how having these big, dark, heavy strings on here really creates a lot of power in what we're playing, and it's fascinating to me how just changing the key, lowering it down, and putting on a couple metal strings really has this effect of creating a lot of drama. That's what's beautiful about this instrument. All right, guys, we're through the two toughest pieces of the day. Let's go grab simple gifts. See how that one's going. Um, I think the fun part about my arpeggios is I'm not trying to sell you anything; they're free, of course. But more importantly, my main thought behind them was to teach myself how to play ukulele, and then to also write things that taught you all the chords, all the positions, all the different things on the fretboard that you would need to know, including all of the right hand things, but to do it in a way that where it sounded nice. And I think that last song is a good example of a song that's um, you know, it's basically a four chord song, but you are really ending up with a pretty decent piece of music. And hopefully, you're finding that with all the arpeggios if you started messing with them, they're actually really nice little tunes. So, oh, and that's exactly what Carol said. Yeah, thank you, Carol. If in measure 7 of simple gifts, there is a G6. All right, so now let's go back to Cindy sent me an email, and I was like, "Oh gosh, I need to read that," and I didn't have time. And so here we go. Measure 7 in simple gifts. There's a G6 chord. That's the 0000. That's what she's talking about. Okay, um, BGBE. Right. I like the sound of FGBE or just GBE. So D E F. F is F. So what she's talking about? So if we have the D here, we could put if we play it open, it's called G6. If we put this on top, it turns it into an E minor. Okay, so now this is the D. It's now an E, and to get to if we put an F here on 3, so now it's 3000. Okay, so then we end up with G B E. It's an E minor with an F. So the name of that chord would be, well, then our bass is an F. It's beyond my ability, Cindy. I'm not positive. I can't do it in my head. I could probably figure out a couple of different names for that chord if you do the 300 there. So let me just play through it a tiny bit to see what that sounds like. Oh, okay. It's just giving you a sustained tone underneath there, Cindy. I think that you can absolutely do that. I don't think you want to do that because what you're really working on there is turning it into a G7 ish, I guess. G, B, E, F. Well, that's an F sharp, so it's not bad. G, B, E, which is really an E minor. G, B, E, it's an E minor sustained 2. EM sus 2 is what you're playing there. That's the action. That would be one of the names for that. And it sounds cool. And so yeah, Cindy, if you like that, knock it out. I think I don't like it, but it's there's no simple gifts police. So if you think, yep, those 000 is going to E minor sus 2, yeah, That's what it is. Okay, because you've got E G B. That's going to be an E minor. In the song itself, at that moment, this is that's probably functioning. It's probably functioning as an E minor anyway. Let me just double check. Place that is right, it will be in the valley of. It's really an E minor. It's really a minor feeling there anyway. I've got a G6 in there. Um, um, and you would never see a sixth chord on purpose in a piece of music like that. So it's probably going toward an E minor feeling there. But if you want to suspend it and add in a second, so when E, F, G, A, B, E, F, G, A, B. So it's E, G, B, right? E, G, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, so there's E, G, B, that's your main chord, and which is exactly what you wrote down, E, G, B, but you wrote it as G, B, E because it's an inversion. And then you're adding in this F, and that's your second. So they always write sus2, and I'm not 100% sure why they call them suspended. There's some reason for it, but there's suspended twos and suspended fours. And sometimes in music you will see sus, and you don't know what they mean. But sus2 and sus4 are things are chords that come up usually in jazz, usually in something a little more sophisticated than that. That's why if your idea is to put that suspended chord in there, it's perfectly fine. The Shakers would never have written anything like that. They would not have used a sixth, nor would they have used a suspended tone. But they would have kept it very, basic. And in this case, a G6 gets you the melody note, and there's really a G chord underneath it, right? So the melody note hits the E. That's the one that's messed up. The rest of it, G, B, D, G, B, D, you got a G chord here, right? There's a G chord here. It just happens that the passing tone is an E note. And so the chord that is created is not intended. A fancy chord that ends up there, it's just not intended. So Cindy says, well, it resolves beautifully to the C chord. At the end of the day, it sounds great. Shaker bop, yeah, heck yeah, a little doo-wop for the Shakers, Is it good to be simple? Is it good to be free? Okay. That's what they're doing. We combined this years ago in our orchestra. We combined Simple Gifts with YMCA, and it actually lays on top of it pretty nicely. And so, dun dun. Da 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 da, and so we pass them back and forth over each other. All right, Simple Gifts. Let's play it. One time through, right? Best shot, first shot, best shot. Don't mess up. Make everything perfect. Grab your F C chord to get started. Cindy's going to play this chord when we get to G. So you're going to hear this weird sound coming out of Cindy's instrument. Don't let it throw you off, okay? Keep your life easy. Here we go. Count in 3, then we start. 1, 2, 3. Fancy C on the end. There you go. Beautiful piece of music. My favorite song. There you go. I don't know why. I love that song. I love it. Everything about this song I absolutely adore. And I think the melody is surprisingly beautiful inside of a relatively simple song. And um, yeah, nice piece of music. All right, simple gifts. All right, our big finish for today, goodness sakes, can you believe it? Is Carnival of Venice. Let's go grab it. All right, with Carnival of Venice, we're going to play all the way down through measure 32. Then we're going to turn right around and we're going to play it again. And the second time through, you're going to skip measures 31 and 32 and just move on to 33 and 33 and 34. And remember yesterday, was it yesterday we worked on this? I cut out the second note in measure 32. It just sounds dumb. I was trying to be all arpeggio-y and I failed. So the second note in measure 32, just get rid of it. Just don't even play it. It will. And so that means the note before that, now instead of a quarter note, it's a half note. Just let that ride through. It'll sound better. I was trying to be too smart and I got beat up for it. So let's give it a try. All right, this is a little Paganini bop, and we're Paganini was an Italian, and he would have appreciated a little bop. And so I don't know. Do we have any weird chords in here? For example, your C chord at measure 1, 5, 5, 5, 5. It's a C chord, right? That's the function that it's doing. But under right here, wrong note, right? You got an A here. This note is an A, and so you're playing a C chord, but you've got this A note under here, and you're like, what is that doing there? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, um, underneath the C chord. So it happens. What's happening there is the melody's going one direction, the chords are going another. They have this weird conflict that they don't necessarily go together, but they sound fine, and so we go with it. And it's usually a passing tone that happens. It happens a lot in music. I notice all the time when I'm doing arrangements and I'm busy tossing in all my notes, and I get to something that sounds really weird, and it's because the melody is in the wrong note for the chord, and you're like, well, that doesn't seem right. But then when you play it, it's like, oh, there's this moment of tension that gets to resolve, and so sometimes it works out perfectly. All right, lots of threes and fives. You do have that 8 down there at measure 23, 24, 25 that's going to eat your lunch. Okay, so we'll play through this 2 times through. This is it for the day. This is it for your week. Make it as beautiful as you can. If you just want to play melody, if that's what you're working on, perfectly fine. If you want to play chords, perfectly fine. Hopefully you're working on tough uke most of the time, and let's see how you do. 1, 2. Let me hit the first note correctly, and then it'll sound a whole lot. It's a lot better to start first note and last note have to be right. It'd be awesome if the last half a dozen notes are right, and then your audience will appreciate you better. Okay, 1, 2. How we playing, guys? How do we do? How did Friday go? Okay, we feeling it. After my little rant at the beginning of the thing, I always was like, I can just imagine people tuning in and listening to me and going like, I don't think I want to listen to that guy. That's fine. It is what it is. I think it's exciting. We're playing legit classical music. And Paganini is no slouch, and I do think that would be a nice piece if you're looking for something that's like, oh, that sounds really pretty. Um, There's a really excellent. Both of those pieces, Simple Gifts and Carnival of Venice, are really, really nice on your instrument. And both pieces where you could start off playing them very, very slow and then start cranking them up. This one, of course, is supposed to be much, much faster than we played it. But you start slow. Start slow. Make sure you know every single thing you're going to do on a piece, and then push it, push and push and push and push. And so that's how I like to. Not how I like to. That is how I do it. Is I start every piece incredibly slow. And then when I find a piece that's like, yeah, I think maybe I'll get this ready for performance for whatever reason, then I start cranking up the speed and start looking for places where I've made dumb fingering decisions or where, I think, oh, this should be this way. And then as you start speeding it up, you have to make minor modifications to it. But that's that. Michelina, sloppy but passable. That's me too. That should be my my tagline on the website. Sloppy but passable. That's awesome, Michelina. Glad for that. Great day. Thanks, Terry. Everyone have a great weekend. Carol, have a great weekend, Terry. I come from music, but stay for the rain. I come from Denver. All right, so I'll try. I try not to have too many rants here. I know that this is an escape for you during your day, and I don't need to be poking the bear. Let's plan on next week. Let me make one very brief mention to you, a little bit of a sales pitch. Week 6 is the end of it. Week 6 is where you are ready to start debating about house level 1 going versus house level 2. Now, you guys are in a tiny bit of a unique position because I have to go on with the next set of baritone lessons because I don't have any of those prepared for baritone. And so I will be moving forward. Probably what we're going to do is we're going to go back and redo all of the new stuff. So if you're brand new, or if you know somebody who's like, yeah, I was thinking about trying to learn an instrument, go buy them a baritone, go put it in their hands and tell them to show up here, not this coming Monday, but the next Monday, because we're going to go right back and do a baritone, Frere Jacques, strumming in A, Make a Better Bar, baritone fretboard, major scales, My Spaghetti Monster, all that stuff. But because you guys are coming in every day as well, and you don't have anywhere else, I don't have another time slot to put the more advanced stuff in. So we will be doing, I think what I'm going to do, is probably split it up where we do 2 songs a day. Probably. I may do 1 song on Monday and then a more advanced song on Tuesday and then an easier song on Wednesday and a more advanced song on Thursday. But let's see how that works. You guys will give me a little bit of an advice about what you think would be the best. But after next week, when we do Daisy Bell and Aloha Oi and Scarborough Fair, those stretch pieces that we have to finish up your intro education on, that's when you'll decide you're going to be taking some sort of stock about, all right, where am I at? How am I feeling about my instrument? Is it time for me to start teaching it? Is it time for me to start traveling the world as a baritone performer? Or is it time for me to go back and revisit some of the basic tools and that we have in place here to make sure I really get it, like I'm really feeling strong about it? For a lot of you newer to music, this is all first time you've ever heard any of this stuff. And so the second time you go through it, it's review and it's actually much more comfortable and you get pretty powerfully plugged into the music continuum. So, guys, let me know what you need. Let me know what makes the most sense and if there's anything you do not need, more arpeggios, right? Or whatever. Feel free to toss me an email. Like I said, I read everything. I don't necessarily have time to write everybody back, but I do read everything. And I do want you to benefit from my experience with this instrument, and I want you to find the place where things are making sense to you. And once you get to, hey, what Michelina said today, hey, I played Carnival of Venice, a little sloppy, but I got it, right? That's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. exactly. So awesome. All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. I'm loving learning to teach baritone. It's exciting. It's very different than ukulele. It is. I don't know why, but it's fun. Um, and let's see. Have a good weekend. Let's see. Cindy, have a good weekend. Thanks, Valerie. Good to see you. Have a great weekend. I would love to do a hybrid review of and new stuff. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I'm just not entirely sure what pacing to do that at Michelina, but we will do that. Would love more advanced ones. Cindy, I know absolutely. Cindy's been with me a long time. She needs more advanced stuff. Michelina, Cindy and I are going to start shaker bot people. All right, all right. I'm not conducting that shaker bot. That sounds hard. I'd like to do a hybrid of the review and the rest. Okay, so hybrid. All right, I'll work it out. I'll figure out the best system that doesn't drive me crazy and tries not to drive you crazy. Have a wonderful weekend. Do good. Be safe. Seriously, be safe. It's awful out there. Practice. Keep showing up. Like and subscribe. Have a good day, you guys. Thanks.